We're going to go over how to clear malfunctions next. Okay. What can go wrong with ammunition? A few things. Misfire, for one. Misfire, you fired the gun and nothing happens. The round never goes off. Misfire, the round never goes off. Okay? Something else you can have is a hang fire. Hang fire is a perceivable delay in firing. Okay? So you pull the trigger, boom. Okay? Might be a second later, might be 5 seconds later, you don't know. Okay? Misfire can happen because of a bad primer. Hang fire might happen because of wet or absent wet powder. Okay? So the primer ignites and it takes time for the powder to actually get going and actually burn to fire the round. So the hang fire. You cannot tell the difference between a hang fire and a misfire until you wait. You have to wait. So on the range, you pull the trigger and nothing happens. You don't know if you have a misfire or hang fire. So for God's sake, don't go, oh, my gun's not working, because you'll blow your head off. This is not funny. Had a guy in my class, just came back from Iraq, and I told him on the range, if you have a malfunction, you don't clear the gun. If you have a malfunction, I want you to stay on target for at least 30 seconds, raise your non-shooting hand, and I'll come and I'll clear the gun for you. Well, he thought he knew more than me. Came out of his holster for the firing order, pulled the trigger, nothing happened. He immediately racks the slide. It ejects the casing, and it explodes right here. Explodes, round falls in the dirt. He's damn lucky it didn't land on the cheek of the guy next to him and take his eye out. Okay? You cannot tell the difference between a hang fire and misfire. You have to wait. The only way to know is time. Misfire, the round never goes. Hang fire, there's a perceivable delay in firing. You're going to wait at least 30 seconds. Squib load. Again, the way that the round works is the primer is ignited by the hammer. The primer ignites the powder burns, the expanding gas propels the bullet through the barrel and downrange. Squib load develops less than normal pressure. A squib load, SQUIB, develops less than normal pressure. So very easy to tell, boom, boom, pop. Okay? You can hear the difference, you can feel the difference in recoil. It's very easy to tell. You might actually even see the bullet fall out of the end of the barrel. And that's a good thing, because then that way you know it's not in the barrel, so you can continue firing. If you have that less than normal recoil and you don't see anything exit, you have to immediately stop firing. You're going to remove the gun from the line, and you have to rod the barrel. You have to rod the barrel to make sure it's clear. If you fire another round right behind it, the potential is that the gun could blow up in your face. What would probably happen is both bullets would go down range, but there's the potential there for blowing the gun up in your face because you're firing a bullet down a barrel that's blocked. Okay? So what can go wrong with ammunition? You have misfire, the round never goes, hang fire, the perceivable delay in firing, and a squib load develops less than normal pressure. You might actually see it fall out of the gun and hit the ground. Okay, so that's ammunition malfunctions. We're going to go over mechanical malfunctions for semi-automatics now. Anybody who's had any experience with semi-automatics knows, oh, these things never malfunction, right? Okay, that was a joke. Most common problem, again, this is dummy ammunition, most common problem with the semi-automatic is you put the magazine in, you rack the slide, pull the trigger, nothing happens. What happened here is that it's called a misfeed. Okay? It didn't actually take a round in. Most common reason for that is the magazine wasn't seated all the way. So you seat the magazine, rack the slide, and you're good to go. And you'll see it doing a fresh check. Now we do have a round in there. Okay? So misfeed is your most common one. Second most common malfunction is called stovepipe. Now if you're using your sights, which you should be using your sights when you're target shooting, if you don't have a stovepipe, I yell at you on my range. Because if you have a stovepipe, it should be pretty obvious because the bullet is blocking your view of the front sight. Okay? And how do you clear this? You're going to put your non-shooting hand on top of the slide, and you're going to bring it all the way back to your shoulder. Okay? This clears the old round out. Okay? And you should be good to go at this point. You can resume firing. If by some chance you didn't actually get the next round in, you might have to rack the slide. But again, you put it on top, you bring your hand all the way back to your shoulder. I tell you all the way back to your shoulder, this way your hand is never in front of the muzzle. Okay? All the way back to your shoulder and resume firing. That's a stovepipe. The third malfunction I'll be going over is third and worst malfunction. It's called a double feed. And I say it's the worst because it takes the longest to clear. Classes I teach are concealed carry, they're self-defense classes, and if you're involved in a deadly force encounter, it'll probably happen at arm's reach, be over in 3 to 5 seconds, and either you will be dead or he will be. And even at 3 to 5 feet, you have to use your front sight. Everyone's seen the video of the State Patrol mine that, pulls over the Suburban full of drugs and explosives, shoots him 15 times, he runs around the Suburban, gets back in, drives away, wasn't hit one time. You have to use your front sight. You have to use your front sight. But anyway, the deadly force encounter lasts 3 to 5 seconds. This takes at least that long to clear. And I'll show you here. Okay. What we have here is that hopefully we'll be able to get a good picture of this. You have one spent casing in the chamber and another new one trying to come behind it. Okay. So normally you hit the magazine release and the magazine falls free. That's not going to happen here because the magazine, the bullet is half in the magazine, half in the gun. So you have to. This is why if you carry a semi-automatic, you have to carry a second magazine. Not a good idea, not what's recommended, you have to. Okay? You're going to push the magazine release, you're going to rip the old magazine out. People hate doing that because those cost $40. This is what you have to do. Then you're going to rack the slide at least 5 times. Okay? That round didn't eject after once. When the round actually functioned, it's probably not going to come out once after you rack the slide. You rack it at least 5 times. You're going to pull the slide back, you're going to observe the chamber, make sure it's clear. You're going to get your new magazine, you're going to insert it, rack the slide, and you're back in the gunfight. Okay? That takes time. That takes time. What can cause double feed? Double feed can be caused by ammunition that's too hot for your gun. This is why if you're going to buy ammunition that's the cheap, barely any powder stuff for the range, because you're just shooting paper with it, and you're going to buy the expensive $50 box stuff for depending on your life, you need to take at least one box of that high dollar ammunition and make sure it functions in your gun. If you buy the hottest plus P plus, as much powder as you can get in the case for self-defense, and you get one shot out of it, and then it overexpands the case and gives you a double feed, it's not worth much. Okay, 10 shots of the cheap stuff is worth much more than one shot of the expensive stuff. Common cause for misfeeds, I told you, was if the magazine isn't seated all the way. And while that's true, what also might happen is if you load this magazine up with 15 rounds or 10 or whatever it holds, and leave it that way for 5 years, you might get 1 or 2 rounds off the top, and then that spring is so compressed it's not pushing the rounds up high enough anymore, and you don't get anything else. So you get 1 or 2 rounds, and then you get a misfeed, and that magazine is junk now. The other 12 rounds of that magazine are useless to you because you can't get them out of the gun. So I have 4 magazines for competition and for the reason that I load 2 magazines, one in the gun and one spare, and I rotate them. Once a month, I unload 2 of them, and I load the other 2 to give that spring a chance to rest. Now, metallurgy is getting better all the time, but if you leave something compressed for an indefinite amount of time, it's going to stay compressed. So that can be another cause for misfeeds. Okay. So immediate action on a semi-automatic. On the Ranger course, in my basic class, I have the students raise their non-shooting hand, and I clear the weapon for them. In my more advanced classes, you're expected to clear the malfunction yourself. Immediate action on semi-automatic, you're going to slap the magazine, because again, the most common cause of malfunctions is the magazine is not seated well. So you're going to slap the magazine, you're going to pull the slide back, you're going to observe the chamber, release the slide, you're going to tap the slide forward to make sure it's in battery, and you're going to resume shooting. Okay? The acronym is called SPORTS. Slap, pull, observe, release, tap, and shoot. SPORTS. S-P-O-R-T-S. Slap, pull, observe, release, tap, shoot. Okay? And I got that from the Army. I didn't make that up. I'll make another video here on pistol shooting fundamentals, but I think that concludes this video. I think we're at about half an hour. So hopefully you got something out of this. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, leave a comment. That'd be great. Thanks a lot for your time.